Long before our rivers carved the land, before even Chrysalia cast her light on the waters, there was but one great river. It was clear as glass, steady as the breath of the world, and it carried every song, every memory, every dream of the earth upon its back. All currents flowed together, and nothing was apart. But one day, as the river rolled through the valleys, it came upon a stone too vast to pass. The stone did not yield, for it was the weight of doubt and certainty, of fear and hope, and even the river could not wash it away. So the river split. One half curved wide around the stone, rushing into shadows where the sun could not reach. Its waters grew deep and stormy, darkened by silt and silence. This was the current of night. The other half stretched toward the open air, shimmering beneath the sky. Its surface sparkled with moonlight and starlight, though it was shallow and easily scattered by the wind. This was the current of day. They flowed apart. Two paths where once there had been one. The world wondered, was the river weaker for its division, or stronger for its choice? Seasons passed. The night current carried secrets, whispers, and stillness, the weight of all things hidden. The day current carried laughter, brightness, and restless chatter, the voice of all things seen. They were opposites, and yet they were kin, for they longed for each other. The stone between them laughed. It said, "You will never meet again. You are divided, and divided you shall remain." But the river does not end at stone, or shadow, or light. It ends only where it chooses, far downstream, beyond mountains, beyond plains, where even the oldest trees cannot grow. The two currents found one another again. They joined at last, rushing together in a great foam of silver and black. Day and night bound as one. And when they met, they did not fight. They carried each other. The day gave the night its sparkle, and the night gave the day its depth. Together, they poured into the great sea, whole again. So we say, two currents may part, but if they are meant, they will rejoin. Their paths are not a mistake. Their division is not a curse. Their meeting will shape the sea itself.
You've had your whole life to decide who you are. Why won't you let us have the same?
You don't even see us. You just see your precious myth walking around on four paws. Do you know what it feels like? To have every laugh picked apart, every silence weighed against a myth older than me?
If all you see when you look at us is a myth, then maybe you've forgotten how to see real Pokemon.
Why can't I just be enough without being the day current? Why can't they just let me be Thea?
You tell us to be quiet, to stay small, but all it does is make Thea think she's wrong for existing. Do you know what that does to her?
I don't want to be the pale current. Or the omen child. I just want to be Thea. Your daughter. Why isn't that enough?
You say you're waiting to see what will become. If you've already decided, and you're wrong. They don't see you the way I do. They see a story. I see my sister.
You're not just my brother. You're my best friend. They can keep their stories. I'll keep you.
The myth doesn't bind us. You don't need it to be special. You already are.
You're not the night current, Nox. You're the reason I'm not afraid of the dark. Please, I'm slipping.
She's slipping. Someone, help me! Why are you just standing there?
Nox, it's pulling me. I can't.
I'll find you. Do you hear me? I'll find you no matter where it carries you.
Nox, love you. Don't forget.
Yeah. You talk about fate like it's sacred. Fate didn't reach for her. Fate didn't try. And neither did you! Do you know what it feels like to watch the only one who's been there vanish? While the one who should have been there never even tried?
If the world wants to split us, then fine. But I'll keep going until it rejoins us again. Now move!
You think danger matters to me? Not knowing where she is. That's worse.
Nox, I know you'd be calm right now. You'd tell me to think, to breathe. I'm trying. I am. But it's so hard without you here.
I don't need your maps. I don't need your warnings. I'll find her. With or without your help.
Even if the river twists, even if I get lost, I'll follow it until it brings me back to you.
She talks too much. She laughs too loud. She rushes into things. But that's who she is. I wouldn't change a thing.
We're twins. Same egg. Which I know is strange. But to me, it just means we were never meant to be apart.
Others call her the day current. Bright, restless, shallow. They don't see how deep she really is. I do.
Everyone back home stares at us like we're some story that came to life. The twin currents this. The myth that. But Nox never treats me like that. To him, I'm just Thea. And to me, he's just Nox. And that's more important than all the stories.
Thea is home. Wherever she goes, that's where I'll go to.
What does he mean to me? He's my anchor, my other half, my best friend. If I lose him, I don't know who I'd be without him.
They say I'm patient, that I'm steady, that I'm supposed to drift alone until the story lets me rejoin her. Do you know how hollow that is? I don't need a story's permission to stand with my sister. I'll choose her, now and always, and I won't wait for fate to catch up.
If I rejoin Nox, it's not because some tale says I have to. It'll be because I choose him every single time. The river glowed silver under the moon, its currents whispering along the banks as though carrying secrets to the night. The fire pit was smaller now, its stones worn smooth by years of paws and claws. But the children gathered just the same. Elder Brooke sat hunched by the flames, his voice thinner than it once was, but no less steady. Once, little ones, there was a story told in this very place. A story of two currents, one bright as day, one dark as night. The world said they were halves, destined to part and destined to meet again, carried by fate. The children leaned in. They knew the old tale, but Brooke's tone carried something different, a new weight. But then came two kits, born of the same shell, pale as dawn and dark as midnight, and the world, in its way, tried to bind them to the tale, whispered that they were omens, watched them as if they were not children, but currents waiting to flow. Yet they would not be bound. He paused, his gaze lost in the fire's glow. The adults around the circle were quiet, listening with the same rapt attention as the children. The bright one laughed too loudly, feared too deeply, but she walked forward even when the ground shook beneath her. The dark one spoke little, but his silence carried more than the world's stories ever did. Together, they did not wait for the river to carry them. They chose their own path, and when the flood came to tear them apart, their bond did not break. It grew stronger. The flames hissed, a log collapsing into sparks. Brooke leaned closer, his voice a whisper that carried like thunder. So hear this well. The river does not decide who you are. Fate does not hold your names. Thea and Nox were no myth. They were more. They taught us that love and choice are stronger than any story. Stronger even than the current itself. For a long moment, the fire pit was silent. Only the water's rush filled the night. Then a young pollywag whispered, awe in their voice. So, they weren't the twin currents after all? Brooke smiled, his eyes soft with memory. No, they were Thea and Nox, and that, little one, will always be enough.